हेलो हेलो हेलो। इस बार ही जा रहे हैं। तो म्यूट करने में और म्यूट बंद करने में आवाज़ बंद हो गई थी। हेलो हेलो हेलो। हेलो 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 हेलो। Okay, so constructor has special class members which are formed by the compiler every time an object of that class is initiated. Constructor has the same name as the class name may be defined inside or outside the class definition. Okay, there are three types of constructors: default constructors, parameterized constructor, and copy constructor. Okay, there are some default constructors. Default constructor is a constructor which does not take any argument and it has no parameters. And then parameterized constructor are the constructors which accept specific numbers of parameters, and copy constructor are the constructor initialize when an object using another object of the class. The constructor is a member function which initialize an object using object of the same class. Characteristic of the constructor. Constructor has the same name as the class itself. Constructor don't have return type. Constructor is automatically called when an object is created, and then it must be okay. It must be placed inside a public section of the class. Okay, if we don't specify a constructor, C++ compiler generates a default constructor for an object expect no parameter as an empty body. Okay, this is what it is done. Okay, constructor can be overloaded. Okay, constructor cannot be declared virtual. Okay, overloaded means there can be multiple constructor with the same name but different number of arguments. Okay, there is a class student, there is a string name, public field age and gender, whole gender, student, route, default constructor indel. Okay, parameterized constructor, student string has int a int b. Copy constructor has student and tree. Okay, so it can be overloaded. There can be multiple student constructor declared inside a uh, okay, so there is a name, string name. Okay, so there is a student copied. Okay, so name equals to S and age equals to A, gender equals to B. If you have parameterized constructor and okay, there's a student and B name equals to P dot name, age equals to P dot age, gender equals to P dot gender, C equals to okay, so void print info, name equals to name, age equals to age, gender equals to gender. Okay. Student S1 dot print info. So print info has been called. And then student S2 equals to submit. Print in1. S3 will be passed with S2 only. Default constructor name equals age equals 2 and gender equals 0. Okay, why the default constructor is taking 2? Default value is taken 2 by the computer, I guess. Okay, so default is having age equals to 2. Destructor. Answer: destructor is also a special member of a constructor. Member function of a constructor. Destructor destroys the class object created by the constructor. Okay. Destructor has the same name as their class name preceded by a tilde symbol. Characteristic of the constructor. Constructor is invoked automatically by the compiler when corresponding constructor goes out of scope and releases the memory space that is no longer required by the program. Okay, destructor neither requires the argument nor returns any value, therefore it cannot be overloaded. Okay, destructor cannot be declared at static or constant. ये पहले रन नहीं हो सकता. Okay, destructor should be declared at the public section of the program. Okay, so this is again CPP code public. Nouns constructor C++. See out this is the time when constructor is called for object number C out and then here sign and destructor. This is returned from destructor spawn for object number C out count and then count on this one. Main feature of hooks. The main four pillars of hooks are given below. Is encapsulation. Okay, go with this. Inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, and encapsulation. Let's go with inheritance first. Inheritance is one of the most important features of OOPS. The capability of a class to derive properties and characteristics from another class is called inheritance. Inheritance most common example is mom and daughter. Some properties of mom inherited by her daughter inherits by her daughter. There are five types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level hierarchical, and hybrid inheritance. Okay, single inheritance when subclass child is inherited from the base class. This is called single inheritance. Inheritance means सबक्लास जो है वो इनहेरिटेड पूरा एक बेस क्लास से तो एक सिंगल इनहेरिटेंस होगा। तो कोड इसका ऐसे है कि ये क्लास ए पब्लिक वाइड फंक्शन ए बेस क्लास and class B inherited. So class B, then there is a dot of public A. This will inherit. So then class B will inherit class A. This is the way of writing. So it is like public. Okay, public A, public B. Okay, so public void function B inherited class B. So a object B is created. Object B function A को कॉल कर रहे हैं, ऑब्जेक्ट B function B को कॉल किया, B ऑब्जेक्ट दोनों को कॉल कर सकता है। Class B inherited properties of A and access function A from class B object also. Okay, so we can access those members of the class A also from the B because it has been inherited some properties of class A. Okay, inherited from class A. So output will be base class inherited from class A. So push the object base. Okay. The name subclass inherited can be numbered in base classes connected to inheritance. Like this, class C is inherited from public class public A from a public B. Public void inherited from class C and then okay A name. Okay, so A can be called, B can be called resolving ambiguity. Okay, the way it's written as dot dot function dot dot is the resolving ambiguity like dot A class C object is created object dot B सो ज़्यादा है क्या करोगे क्लास की चलाई तो दुकान ले जाते हैं सो जाओ यही सोने है वहाँ जाती है रूम जाके सोना है या यही सोना है तुमसे पूछ रहे हैं बोल मतलब 100% सोना ही है कि पूरा तगड़ा वाला पूरा रात या थोड़ी देर सोना है Okay, so there is a typo, I guess. It will be inherited from class A and B, and not class C, obviously. That's why it's inherited from class A and B. Okay, this is what I got. And dot A dot B is basically doing what? Is like resolving the ambiguity because this is method overriding. Like if you will call directly A C object dot func, then it will be ambiguity for C as B and A. I have same name of function. And Java don't support this uh, multiple inheritance. Now it's multi-level inheritance. Interstellar inheritance. So there class is created from another class. Okay. So what this means is If there will be a derived plus B, then there will be a derived plus C, which will be derived by B only. So multi-level, this is derived by this, and this is derived by this. This is the base class. B is derived by A, and C is derived by B. So this is multi-level inheritance. The function A is called base class A, inherited from class A, inherited from class B. Hierarchical inheritance is like there is a class A, there is a class B. More than one subclass is inherited from a single base class. More than one subclass is inherited from single base class. Like there is something A and then B and then C. One base class is inheriting two or more classes. हाँ भैया हेलो हेलो हाँ भैया हम कह रहे थे कि भैया टिफिन को छोड़ दीजिए नहीं तो आज मतलब हॉस्टल नंबर 5 पे दे दीजिएगा आज या बिना उसके दे दीजिएगा मतलब बेसिकली टिफिन के क्योंकि टिफिन मेरे पास है यहाँ पे कॉलेज में मैं लाइब्रेरी में बैठा हूँ 5 नंबर में दे दीजिएगा क्या है उसे आज खाने में पनीर करी ना पनीर दे दीजिएगा ठीक है वही दे दीजिएगा हॉस्टल नंबर 5 ठीक This is hierarchical inheritance, and then what is hybrid inheritance? Okay, the inheritance in which the derivation of class involves more than one form of any inheritance is called hybrid inheritance. Basically, C++ hybrid inheritance is a combination of two or more of type of inheritance. It can also be multi-path inheritance. What it means is like class A is having index and class B is derived from class A, which has say B function which is having x equals to 10, and there is a class C which is basically uh, not having any inheritance, but it has some value, and then class D which is derived from two classes B and C. So this is basically multiple inheritance. This is basically single level inheritance, and the D is basically multi-level also and multiple also. So it is already two, multiple and multi-level both. So this is what hybrid inheritance is. Okay. So when a D object one is created, object one dot sum is 14. How it is 14 is like first A is initializing one object and then B is basically initializing it with 10 and C is basically initializing Y with 4 and what if this is returned is x plus Y which is 14 already. Okay, then what is encapsulation? Answer is a normal terms is defined by wrapping up of data information under a single unit like method. Okay, encapsulation defines binding together the data and the function that manipulates them. Okay, it increases security of the data. Encapsulation allows level without revealing the complexity detail below that level. Encapsulation allows access to a level without revealing the complex details below that level. Okay, it reduces human error, makes the application easier to understand. Real life example is basically backpack, can have book pen, erasers, lunchbox, and so on. So what it is, class encapsulation is having a private index and some public set of which is having void set int a and x equals to a. Functions return function to return the value of variable x. Int get x, int name, encapsulation object. Encapsulation is a class basically which we have created. So object dot set 5. So set 5 means x equals to 5. So 5 will be printed. Its setting and then getting is printing both sides. Excuse me. Abstraction is data abstraction. Okay. So data abstraction is one of the most essential and important features of OOPS. Abstraction means display only the relevant attributes of the object and hides the unnecessary details like background details and implementation. Okay, helps user to avoid writing low-level codes, avoids code duplication, and improves reusability. Reusability helps to increase security of an application or program. As only required details are provided to the user. Real life example is an ATM. Check balance, withdrawal, cash deposit, cash and bill. Even though it performs no action doesn't show us the process. It has hidden its process by showing only the main things like getting input and getting the output. Okay, so there's a class implement abstraction which we have created on private int a and the public is basically void set index and y a equals to x and b equals to y. Void display cout int a equals to a, b equals b, and implement abstraction. Void return this. Abstraction is basically setting up things to private. So let's see what is the difference between abstraction and encapsulation. That's what I'm getting confused with. Okay. Encapsulation is building data variables and method function that operates on the data into a single unit, typically typically class. Okay, it is a class basically. Encapsulation is a class. It also all involves restricting direct access to some component, which how it provides data hiding. Okay, some private things will be there hidden from the outside, or some public things will be there. And encapsulation is basically this class. That's it. That is what binding it together. Okay. What makes encapsulation private, meaning cannot be accessed from the outer side board, function set and get a public method that allows access to access public, but the actual value of access is hidden. The data and functions are bundled together in one class. Okay, this setup prevents unauthorized access and protects data from accidental modifications. Okay, abstraction is hiding inherent in internal details and showing only the essential features of an object. It also allows user to interact with an object without needing to understand the complex inner working. Okay, core breakdown of basically class implement abstraction and private int A and B internal data, and public is what void set int x comma y a equals to x and b equals to y. Void display out a equals to a and b equals to b. What makes this abstraction? The implementation details of how A and B are stored and created are hidden. Interface to work with. Hidden logic. main difference between encapsulation and abstraction is definition most independent it into unit single unit class, adding complexity and showing the essential. To get data and provide control access to reduce complexity and show the relevance. How to protect data, what information to show, to use as private public protected. The main difference focus. Okay, now coming back to the same, yes, basically polymorphism.
enough to survive to look I've got dozens of good questions and a bunch of good. Nothing is damn right. But I can jump on this call and change my life. Hello, Mr. Fine.
The word polymorphism means having many forms. Polymorphism occur when there is an hierarchical mode of inheritance. Hierarchical mode of inheritance means this one: A is derived from B, And similarly, C is also derived from A. This is hierarchical. C++ polymorphism means that that a call to a member function will cause a different function to be executed depending on the type of object that invokes the function. C++ polymorphism means that a call to hello, hello, hello. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello. Okay, now I can hear just a sec. Okay, what you can hear? You can hear me or what? So I'm closing my mic for now, okay? गुड मॉर्निंग। तुमको वरिश कभी ऐसे बोल रहा है क्या कि तुम पागल होते जा रहे हो? भाई ये सब हरकतें ऐसे ऐसे करोगे पब्लिक में ना बहुत अजीब लगेगा लोगों को।
Can you hear me right now? Hello?
कैन यू हियर मी? हेलो हेलो हेलो। कैन यू हियर मी? हम्म हम्म। Yes, now you can hear me. Okay, so the thing is, what I was saying is, like, I can hear your YouTube voice, I can see your image, I can see the streaming, and everything is fine. This is what I feel. So, I guess I'm ready. This is the way to give the interview, and at the time of interview, you will be doing the same. One thing you can do, you can start Gmeet or whatever, and with your friend or whatever you want, if it's needed. Or your setup is fine now. We can give directly also if you want. Okay.
Yes, yes. Tomorrow it's just that we might because we must be having the experience get the mic right just
I can hear you, but your voice is little bit breaking because your internet might be slow.
just like minute. Yeah. I hope it's clear right now.
Wait a second, it's just loading a bit. as you change the internet. Yeah, now say.
Is it clear right now?
Yeah, now it's better.
What I was with the lab. Anyways, shall I use? I guess this bird also has a problem. What would you suggest? Like, shall I use? Can I put it outside itself so that it will be easier? Or
What?
like tomorrow, it could be that I would be using birds, or I might not be using birds. Maybe because of there's no clarity using these birds, right? Earbuds.
Earbuds. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure. You can use the earbuds or you don't want, and you cannot also. Why it's needed?
Right.
What will be the problem? Like if you will be using or not?
Yes. Okay. So can we start it?
What we want to start? Why? What you are looking for right now? Like some questions or something?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
I'm looking for. See, the interview needs to be run in a proper
Okay.
manner,
Ask some
right? Like I
question.
have to
Ask
ask
some
some
question.
follow questions. I will.
Okay. Ask some question.
Okay. Okay. So I will try that.